Alrighty, so I'll present my screen, get the warm up on the board for you guys. All right. So 4 questions. Our first one is 0 minus 3 plus 4. So go in order. 0 minus 3, then add 4. Number 2, write an equivalent expression. So you need to write this with variables and letters. 3 times a number decreased by 11. Number 3 is 5/8 divided by 8/9. And number 4, fill in the blank. What happens when you have a negative 76? What does it become? Well, yeah, write it down. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. I actually don't think you need super long on this one. 5 minutes on this one, okay?
It doesn't. It's just like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you try to watch it?
No. It's new.
Okay, focus on the words, please. Try them.
Number one is like adding and subtracting. And then so you can find the number line. And then go back to 3. And then add. Which way is after the one negative? And then go and then plus 4. And then, okay, got it. 1, 2, 4.
About 2 more minutes? 2 minutes? One more minute on these ones. All right. Let's go ahead and review these really quick. This is kind of a quick one today. So, make sure we can see this all right. Looks good. All right. So, number one here, we have the problem 0 minus 3 plus 4. Now, the best way I can describe doing this would be to use a number line. You might be able to do it in your head, but if you're confused on it, start with a number line. Put your 0, and then it says minus 3. So you would jump backwards 3. 1, 2, 3. That puts you at what number? Negative 3. So we did 0 minus 3. Okay, then it says plus 4. Am I going to go more negative or positive after that? Positive. How many jumps? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where do I end up? Positive 1. So your answer is 1. Okay, what? Ready? Okay. So this is where we end up. Number 2 here is 3 times a number decreased by 11. So let's look at some keywords here first. What are the keywords? Decrease is a keyword. What does decrease mean? Subtract. Good. Decrease means to subtract something. What's our other keyword? I heard it.
Number.
Okay, I heard times and number. So let's start with times. Oh, I didn't mean to cross it out. What does it mean if it says times? Multiply. Okay. Now, I heard someone say that number is a key word.
Oh,
Why? What does it mean, Alex?
I don't know, I just did it.
You are correct. It is a key word.
And like the number, the number after the problem is solved. Number is representing a variable.
Okay, yeah. The number that you don't know is your variable. Okay.
And to represent it.
N is fine. So now if we read this, it says 3 multiplied by a number. So 3 multiplied by a number. How do I do this? 3 3n. You could use x, b, z, y. It doesn't matter what variable you use as long as it's a letter. So we have 3 multiplied by a variable. Then we need to decrease or subtract how many? 11. There's our answer. There's your expression. Huh? There's no division here. This is subtraction, not division. Increase is addition, decrease is subtraction. If you wanted us to divide, it would usually say divide or split into things like that.
Like times, which means like multiply, and then decrease, which is like
Subtract. So you're multiplying them, and then you subtract 11 after you've multiplied.
So that's where I got division.
But there's no division in here at all. Just subtraction. Okay, our next one, number 3. We're doing some division here. 5/8 divided by 8/9. I already have 2 fractions. What is it? What do I do here? KCS. Keep, change, flip. Keep 5/8. What do I change division to? Say again. We need to multiply them. What do I flip 8/9 to? 9/8. Good. And now we need to do what? Multiply straight across. What is 5 times 9? 45. 8 times 8 is what? 64. Okay, now we need to check if we can simplify this at all. Is there a number that goes into both 45 and 64? Not that I can think of off the top of my head, so this would be our correct answer. All right. And finally, negative 76. If I take a negative and a negative, what happens to them? They cancel and become positive. So what is my negative 76 become? Just stay positive. 76. Good. Good. Okay, we're doing all right. How about online? How'd you guys do on that one today? Good, bad.
Good.
Good. Alrighty. So, those of you here in person, go ahead and shut your computers and put them to the side so that you are completely paying attention today. We are going to do practice problems, basically, for one-step equations that we did yesterday. So I'm going to erase what's behind me because we're going to do them. Those of you online need to have something to write with and do the problems on here. Those of you here will be doing them on your whiteboard. Okay? Did you just ask where your whiteboard is? Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is basically like 16 practice problems, but they go kind of quick. So we're going to do 4 of each kind of practice problem. So we have 4 problems we'll do for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So let's talk about how high can you see up here? Not that high. So let's see. What is the opposite? So we're going to do the inverse. But I'm aware. Can you guys online see where I wrote inverse? Because they seem to think you can't, but I think you can.
Yeah, we found it. Can't see past the red line.
The record button is only on that TV. You guys have the whiteboard in front of you. You can read it right here. I feel like that's.
We've done it.
Oh my God.
You're just like my mother.
We've done it. Our recording thing.
Can they
Just
see it?
like my mother.
I don't know. No one's answering me.
They're not listening.
No, yeah, you still can't see it.
Well, I didn't move anything. Nope.
Well, because it's something enough.
They cannot see.
Okay. Hey, can we stop yelling at me? Guys. Chill. Online. Can you guys see this or do I need to write it in a different location?
Yeah, we could see it.
Oh my God, what a concept. Thank you, Eliza. So, inverse. What does the word inverse mean?
It means inverse.
No.
Opposite.
Opposite.
That's what I'm saying like that.
Okay, inverse means opposite. So you need to take the opposite of the operation that you're doing. So let's say we have, let's do number 1 here. Let's say we have x plus 8 equals 34. We are solving to figure out what x equals. And I'm aware that you guys can do this in your head and say this plus this equals 34. I know that. But this gets much harder as we move on. So we're practicing with the easy stuff to start. What I showed you guys yesterday is to start off with an upside down t so that it splits your equation in half. Okay? Then we need to take the inverse of whatever is being added. So if this is an adding 8, how do I get rid of it? We need to subtract 8. And remember, it's like a balance beam. Okay? If I subtract 8 on one side, what do I have to do on the other side? Subtract 8 on this side as well. Okay? What else?
You have to write down the inverse.
No.
We have to write down that.
Okay. So now we do this subtraction. What is 8 minus 8? It's 0. They cancel each other out and just go away. 0 doesn't need to be present, right? So what's left on this side of my equation? X. And that equals, what is 34 minus 8?
22.
Not 22. What is
26.
26?
Whoa.
Okay. Now, we can check our answer by putting our answer, 26, back into our original problem and say 26 plus 8 equals 34. Does that equal 34? Yeah, check. You're good. So you have checked your answer to see if it's correct. So there's one example. I'm going to leave this up, and I'm going to put 3 more problems up that I want you guys to try. I'll give you a few minutes to try them on your own. So our next one, let's see what we got here. Let's do 2 plus x equals 14. Okay, solve that one. This is number 2. Number 3, let's see. U plus 3 equals 7. Okay, solve that one. And then let's do 100 equals n plus 30. Okay, go ahead and solve these 3. You should be working on them individually, trying these on your own. All 3 of them, please.
Not a U or a boy.
That's a U.
Okay.
Should I use a different variable or are you good with that?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
I was looking on.
Four.
Where?
Number 3.
It's a U plus 3 equals 7. I don't know. We'll just make this a different variable.
Yeah, make it a different variable, guys.
Why? There you go.
Why? Why is there this line?
Because it splits it in so you know where your equals is. So you need to get all of the numbers on this side of the line.
Minus this.
So you just kind of split it in half so that you make sure that your variable stays on one side of your equation and the numbers go on.
How do I listen to someone?
Okay, so are you adding or subtracting? Oh, it's kind of on doing it. Subtract. So if you do it on this side, have to do it on this side. Now what is 2 minus 2? 0. 0. That's what I do. You can. You just look at cancel out, right? And then what's left? X. X. Yes. And then you have your equals. And now what is minus 2? And you don't use the form and the one state. These cancel out and they're 0. You don't actually put it in. So try to open it. You can have
They just do the opposite on the other.
Yep, you're the opposite.
Well, what?
So it'd be like if we had a pen file from the here, you could write to somebody like California or another state, Florida. You just gotta do it there. Hey, my name is Kevin. I'm in
I'm in Florida.
what do you like? So you would write back and forth, back and forth. And sometimes like pen pals are different. No, you just the other hand, there's no thing you think you're out of pen pal in English. They end up getting married. It's the same thing. And that's fine. But I'm sure you've heard about it.
what happens, there's like a variable right there.
So then, what looks like number one? So the variables, they wrote it, right? And then they wrote it adding. You're doing the same thing, it's just the variables start putting it different stuff.
Okay, we'll do about 1 more minute on these ones and we'll review them.
Michelle was not right.
Good, Yoshi. All right, let's look at number 2 here. So, those of you online, why don't you type out your answers for 2, 3, and 4 and check them as we go. So just type what you got, because I could see what they got in here. So so I know that you're working on them with us. Type out the answers that you got and have them in the chat for me.
I got two.
I almost hit the X on that and exited out of all of this.
I got 2 others though, just 3.
All right, so if we look at number 2, we have 2 plus x equals 14. We need to get rid of this 2 and move it to this side. If this is a plus 2, positive 2, how do I get rid of it? We gotta subtract. Subtract 2. If I subtract 2 on one side, what do I have to do?
Put it on the other one.
Subtract it on the other side. Good. So what is 2 minus 2? 0. They just go away. What am I left with on this side? X equals, what is 14 minus 2? 12. There's our answer.
So is any like leftover like addition signs or addition signs or subtraction signs you just leave it?
Like this. This means it's a positive 1x, right? If this was a negative, you would have to do more work, but we're not going to talk about that just yet. Maybe later in the week, but right now you should be left with addition signs. Yeah. Yeah.
Is this the other one like
I mean, you can just look at it and be like 2 plus what equals 12, right? I mean 14. But kind of the only way to do it, yeah. It does get harder. This is a 1-step equation. There's like 2, 3, and 4-step equations that you start doing the older you get. And like they throw in more. You'll get older, sorry. Number 3, we have y plus 3 equals 7. We have an adding 3. How do I get rid of this adding 3?
You got
What's the opposite? Good. The opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3. What am I missing? What do I need to do? Bring down the y. This will go away. But what am I still missing? Good. If I subtract 3 on this side, you must subtract 3 on this side. What is 7 minus 3? 4. There's our answer. All right. And our last one for this one for adding. This time it's flipped. Our n and our variable are on the other side, but does that matter? Not really. We still need to get rid of this adding 30. What is the opposite of adding 30? Subtracting 30. If I subtract on one side, what do I have to do on this side? Subtract on this side. What happens with 30 minus 30? 0. It goes away. What am I left with over here? N. Equals, what is 100 minus 30? 70. So we have 70 equals n, and remember, you can also just flip it and write n equals 70. They mean the same thing, right? And all of them? How'd you guys do online? I didn't see any answers come in, so how'd you guys do? I meant to make this big. This is not like my best. There we go. That works. All right. So that was the adding side of it. Let's do some subtraction problems.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the same thing, it's just off.
We're still just gonna be doing the opposite, okay?
It's just gonna be a difference.
Exactly, good, Yoshi. So let's do one together. Let's say we have x minus 10 equals 34.
I got it.
I just
right.
took the 34 from the last one, apparently. Okay, so we start off with our upside down t, just to make sure that we have our equation split on two sides of our equal sign. We need to get the x all alone, isolate the variable. If this is subtracting 10, what do I do to take the opposite?
Add
Add what?
10.
Add 10. If I add 10 to this side, what do I have to do to this
You have
side?
to add 10 to the other
We
side.
also have to add 10.
That's gonna be 20
Good.
on the other side.
Well, is it? This is negative 10 plus 10. What happens?
Yeah.
So we're at negative 10, and we add 10. Where does it put us? 0. They cancel each other out.
Oh.
And we have x left equals, what is 34 plus 10?
If we were adding it, then
44.
it would be 40.
X equals 44. And remember, you can check it by plugging it back in. If x is 44, we can put it back in the original and say 44 minus 10 equals 34. And say, yep, that is correct. Right? So there's our example. I'm going to put 3 on the board for you guys to try. Okay? Let's do y minus 5 equals 18. And solve that one. 56 equals n minus 25. That sounds good. Okay, so that one, and z minus 13 equals 42. And there's our fourth one. So 3 problems for you guys to try on your own, please. You got this. The more we do it, does it make more and more sense? Okay. I'll make it out of the way for this one.
Don't they cancel each other out if they're the same thing? So how do we do the same?
Not 28, the second.
Oh, wait, no, that's, that's 23. 23 is that one? Yeah. I got 23. Okay, so is, 55 now. Whoa. How did you get this? I don't know. But, the second one is on the. Yep. I mean, there's a lot more time, so once you get all the girls, starting here, and then we'll go back. Whereas you go to junior high. We're not like Jim, Jim shows up. Is it still my water bottle? Good, on the first one, you should go. I got 4 years. I said 4, I'm not talking about. I had these little. I just don't know, you do that? I got my Saturday for. I didn't hear nothing.
know her free shit.
Move on to endless. Just so you know. Yeah.
Alrighty, do we need another minute? I'm seeing most people finishing up in here. How about online? If you finish and you're done with these three, put your answers in the chat so that I can see how you guys are doing, please.
We're gonna just see the answers.
Alex, thank you.
Like, oh, no, that's not.
Ada, mask, please. Thank you. Alright, so focus up here. Elijah, turn the computer off, please. Thank you. Alright, so we did number one. Number two, we need to solve the opposite of subtracting. So we need to get y all by itself. What's the opposite of subtracting 5? We need to add 5. If I add 5 on this side, do I have to do it on this side? Yes, no? I'm hearing a lot of, thank you. So what is negative 5 plus 5? 0. They cancel out. We get y equals, good, 18 plus 5 is 23. And you can check it by saying 23 minus 5 equals 18. Okay? Our next one, number 3, 56 equals n minus 25. Again, this one is a little backwards. Your variable's on the different side, but it doesn't matter. We still need to get our variable alone. So we're subtracting 25 on this side. What's the opposite of subtracting? Adding how many? 25. If I do it to this side, you must do it to this side. Good. What is negative 25 plus 25? 0. They cancel out. What am I left with? N equals.
81.
Good. 81. How else could I write this and it would still be correct? Good. N equals 81. You can just flip it and it's still correct. You can also check your answer by saying 56 equals 81 minus 25. And that does work. Okay. And finally, got to get the z all by itself. What's the opposite of subtracting 13? Add 13 to both sides. One of the biggest mistakes I see is that you just forget to add it to the other side. So just make sure you do it to both sides. It's like a balance beam. It has to happen on both sides to stay balanced, okay? So we have z equals 55. Good job, Yoshi. Awesome. All right. So we have done adding and subtracting. Now we need to do our multiplying and dividing. These are the ones that kind of throw some people off a little bit. So we're going to practice these ones now. Give me a second to get some erasing done.
I can't believe I got all
Okay. Let's start with multiplying. Let's do 5x equals 25. So you still start with your t in the middle, right? Upside down t. Then we need to get this x all by itself. What operation is happening between the 5 and the x? These are being divided? These are being multiplied. This is 5 times x. What is the opposite of multiplying by 5? Dividing by 5. If I divide by 5 on this side, what do I have to do on this side? Divide by 5 on this side. Now, what is 5 divided by 5? 1. So those go away. You did 5 divided by 5 and drop down your x. 1x equals, what is 25 divided by 5? 5. So 1x equals 5. What's another way to write this? Just x equals 5, right? This 1 is kind of an invisible 1. It doesn't have to be there, but you could always write it if you need to. No, you don't have to. You can just say it's x. Right. You can check this by doing 5 times 5 because x equals 5. And does that equal 25?
Yeah.
Yep. There's your answer. All right, so now let's do 3 on your own. Okay, you can follow the same process. Let's do 7x. Wow, those are awful x. Hang on. 7x equals 63. So you can solve that one. And then 54 equals 9y. There's another one to solve. And your third one to solve. 100 equals 20n. So go ahead and solve that one too. So solve for those variables. You will divide on all of them, yep. You're just dividing, yeah. Go ahead and divide. Okay, take a few minutes to work on these ones. Those of you online, as you finish, you can put your answers in the chat so I can check on those, please.
The one that's coming, hopefully coming. I'm trying to get out of principle. Okay, sure. The first one is 6. These ones is part of not I guess it's true. I feel like I did right. I think I mean, so the same thing, right? It's going to be dividing this by the adding. When you write it out, when you write it out, so write down number 2. I mean, like, Dad. I know it. I was gonna say, if I only have an example, just a little. Okay, focus on your zero. Right, so we have 7, this is being multiplied by 7.9. What's the opposite of multiplying by 7? You just let it go to the line. By 7. So by 7, I do on this side. So, what is 7 by 7? So, I'm going to make it 100 times 7 goes. Well, oh, I just wanted to. 49. 9? Oh, but that's not right. But 9.
Okay, let's go ahead and go over these ones so that we can hopefully get to the quizzes at the end. So we need to do some division here because we are multiplying. Number 2, we have 7 times x equals 63. What's the opposite of multiplying by 7 here? Divide by 7. If I divide by 7 on this side, what do I have to do here? Divide by 7. What is 7 divided by 7? 1. X, don't forget your X, equals 63 divided by 7 is 9. And remember, you can also drop the 1 if you'd like to. X is the same as 1x and just get X equals 9. Okay? Number 3. It's flipped again. The Y is on the opposite side. Does it matter?
No.
Nope. We still need to divide. What am I going to divide by on both sides? 9, because 9 is being multiplied by the variable. So we're going to divide to get rid of it. When you get your answer. So what is 9 divided by 9? 1. You're left with 1y equals 54 divided by 9? 6. So this could also be y equals 6. Or you can even flip it and say y equals 6. All 3 of these answers would be correct. Okay? Most of the time you're going to see it like this, though. Okay? With y equals 6. Written like that. With the variable equaling the number. And our last one. What do I need to do here? Divide by 20. Just on one side? Both sides. Good. What is 20 divided by 20? 1 and equals, what's 100 divided by 20? Good, it's going to be 5. And again, you can drop the 1, n equals 5, or you can flip it around and get n equals 5. All 3 of those would be correct. Okay, how we do on those ones? Good? Bad? Okay. All right. We have one more type to practice. Okay, we have one more type to practice. We have done all but division. So, focus please. Let's say we have x divided by 2 equals 6. This is our equation that we're given. We need to solve for x. We do need to multiply because this fraction bar means that we're dividing on this. So we need to do the opposite of dividing by 2. What is that? Multiplying by 2. If I multiply by 2 on this side, what do I have to do here? Multiply it by 2. Some people write it underneath 2. It doesn't really matter which way you write it. Yeah. This one's kind of the most interesting looking one, so it kind of trips people up. But on this one, we have the 2 times x over 2, but these will just cancel out like we talked about yesterday. It's like a 2 divided by 2. What is 2 divided by 2? What? 2 divided by 2? 1. And you're left with x equals, what is 6 times 2? 12, or x equals 12. And if you plug your x back in, you would get 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Is 12 divided by 2 6? Don't overthink that. Is 12 divided by 2 6? Yeah. Okay? So in this one, you're multiplying on both sides to get rid of your numbers, isolate your variable. So let's do x over 3 equals 4, and you guys solve that one.
How'd you get 6?
The 6 was already there.
No, how'd you get 6 on that one?
On this one?
Yeah.
I plugged in our answer. 12 is x.
Oh, okay.
So I put 12 divided by 2 equals 6.
Okay.
Okay, so you got that one to solve. Let's do 5 equals x over 4. And 15, oops, not 15x, sorry, equals x over 3. Okay, so we have 3 problems here for you to solve. Go ahead and be working on those, por favor. Okay, take 3 minutes. Yeah.
You get the bottom number and
You multiply by whatever on the bottom.
we have you on my head.
There you go. They are on that. Sounds interesting. Then we were like, oh, can I unit PDF after that? If you go to run up, they have the whole computer time, all of it. Oh, it's in our first unit PDF. I know, I don't know if it's over. But they are in there. So you find out really quick, well, I know, I didn't do that. Just Google it. Oh, okay. Find it before we drop it. Can I get it?
Yeah, there should be some in the back behind the seat. Okay, let's go ahead and review these ones. Those of you online, put your answers in the chat so I can see if they are correct. And let's review these. Number 2, we have x divided by 3 equals 4. What is the opposite of dividing by 3? We need to multiply by 3 on both sides. 3 divided by 3 is what? 1. Because it goes in one time. And then these cancel and you get your x equals. What is 4 times 3? 12. Also can be written as x equals 12. Okay? Because you're multiplying by 3 over 1. So it's like 3 over 1 times x over 3. So you get 3x over 3. The 3's will cancel. And you're just left with x. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1x. Yep. Okay. Our next one, we have 5 equals x divided by 4. What's the opposite of dividing by 4? What's the opposite of dividing by 4? Multiplying by 4. Multiplying by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1x equals 20. Also can be written as 20 equals x, or you can flip it, Alex, turn around, and get x equals 20. And finally, 15 equals x divided by 3. What is the opposite of dividing by 3? Multiply by 3. Multiply by 3. Do you guys see that no matter what I do on one side, I always do on the other side? Always. Good. What is 3 divided by 3? 1x equals, what's 15 times 3? 45. Which can also be 45 equals x, and x equals 45. So, after today with lots of practice, do we feel better with these equations and how to solve them? We do not have time, but instead of doing a warm-up tomorrow, we'll do the quizzes instead. Okay? So, almost time for lunch. So, hopefully those of you online followed along okay. I didn't see any answers in the chat.